that old cliche, the dog ate my homework? Well, that saying is taking on new meaning as education goes digital, enabled by the availability of inexpensive notebooks and more reliable networking technology. The Doris and Alex Weber Jewish Community School in Atlanta is a testament to the powers of wireless networking in an education environment. Hello, I'm Heather Clancy, your host for this episode of D-Link TV. I'm here at the Weber School in Atlanta, where 20% of the school's 225 students are now hooking their notebooks into a wired and wireless network made possible by D-Link. I'm here to get an education on how the deployment happened and how it has transformed the learning process.
There was a combination of wired and wireless technology that needed to go into this facility. And to understand it, you have to kind of understand the story behind the building. The building was built 35 or 40 years ago to really bomb shelter specifications. 3 or 4 foot thick floors and walls in many areas to protect all the gear that used to be here. So that represented a big challenge in actually coring through floors that were this thick to pull cables and to pull power into all different parts of this huge facility.
The network blankets almost the entire building and replaces an ad hoc network that was increasingly costly to manage.
There'll be a lot of crises from day to day, things breaking down, work stoppage, and it became incredibly frustrating.
And we had cables that were under the trailers. Often the cables would be half submerged in water after a heavy rain. They would get wet. It seemed like every time a cloud went over the sun, the network would go down.
So we had to look at ways to get connectivity. We had to look at ways to get power, and then ways to be able to get people all to talk to each other through a network.
The flexibility was the key issue. The amount of cabling that we probably would have had to run for hard wiring. If there were savings, and I don't remember even if there were, it just wasn't worth not having that flexibility.
So if there was a way for us to cut back on the amount of power or the number of cables, that would save money. How can we find a way to engineer the network the right way, take advantage of the money that was available to us, and not go over budget? We also wanted to use power over Ethernet technology so that we wouldn't have to put a power receptacle next to every single access point throughout the facility. We felt like if we did that, we could save money, a significant amount, still provide the network that the school was looking for, and fall in right at or below budget.
The 200,000 square foot building is enabled by 10 D-Link DWL 3200 access points and 4 D-Link DES 1526 power over Ethernet switches.
We felt for certain that we were going to have to oversaturate the building in order to get the type of range we were looking for. As we did testing, we were very pleasantly surprised. The D-Link products use very high power radios, 100 milliwatt radios to be exact. And they were able to send the signal not only further, but in a wider dispersion path. So we could place them not so close to each other and in between floors and effectively blanket the entire building with coverage.
So this was designed to be a secure network.
Security was paramount. In addition to having to secure the network from the places that children have a tendency to wish to wander, we had to secure it from people that are outside the school. So it had to be at a level where we could secure it both from ourselves as well as use common practices in order to keep the network locked down the way that it needed to be.
And then, of course, we've got to have safeguards. We put in the firewall, so we have filters. And then within regular antivirus and anti-spyware scanning that we do, we really not had any sort of problems at all security-wise so far.
So when we engineered this network, centralized management of the entire network, wired and wireless, was essential. We couldn't have anybody running around with roller skates in this building constantly going across floors one place to another to fix the network.
And in terms of support, there's really very little. I mean, frankly, the network is up and it runs, and just routine maintenance, and it takes care of itself.
We engineered it to be reliable, dependable, easy to manage from a central workstation, so that the folks that run the network can go just about anywhere and manage the entire network for just about anywhere in the facility.
The wireless is something that not all of the middle schools in this area have, and that is a big advantage.
Because it's been so reliable, it's been invisible in how it works, and they have the world is literally at your fingertips.
Clearly, the network was built out to support the school administrators and faculty, and it boasts advanced security and centralized management capabilities. But the upgrade also has enabled students to work with their teachers much more interactively.
Oh, I can study more. There's a wider range of topics because I can look up anything. It's not restricted to just what my textbook has. And it's faster and easier for me to do my homework and look up notes.
I mean, with the technology being so seamless and integrated, it is just fantastically a means to just a multiplicity of ends that you want to achieve. And now our teachers, and even the teachers who didn't grow up in the technology age, are able now to take it so much for granted because it's been so reliable.
What carried the most weight is they wanted durability, reliability, dependability, ease of management. The D-Link system represented all of those things. Every one of those things leads to dollars saved. These are things that we try to think about for our clients. When we looked at everything and compared it, the D-Link solution not only came up as the best for satisfying all those particular areas, when it came to power, which, as I mentioned earlier, was a key factor in this building, the radio systems and these access points, on the performance level, blew everyone away. While we could have put other vendors in here and used twice as many access points, there wasn't a need to with the D-Link system, especially when we gained all those other benefits.
More flexibility for students, a power-efficient, secure, and easy-to-manage infrastructure for administrators. They sound like pretty compelling arguments to me when you consider that schools lay the foundation for our future economy. For D-Link TV, I'm Heather Clancy. Thanks for clicking in.
For more information on D-Link's enterprise class business solutions, log on to dlink.com.